Hi everybody, today I want to share a video using a brand new product collection, and this is a sneak peek, and it's kind of a long range sneak peek because this is something that's going to be in the upcoming spring mini catalog. Can you believe spring? And we had snow on the ground here in Illinois today. It's kind of funny, in the morning, two mornings in a row we've had snow, and it's only October 27th. So anyway, I wanted to share this because normally in the month of November, it's an exciting time for us demonstrators because we have a big convention and we all get together and we get to see all the new products, and it's really fun. And this year, because of COVID, we're not doing it. We have a virtual event, a virtual convention coming up in a week, and that's going to be fun, but it's not the same as kind of being in person. So this year Stampin' Up they sent us stuff in the mail to get early so we can do these make and takes along with the demonstrations, and they told us to go ahead and share because I think they're just, usually they tell us not to share so early, but I think that they know that we're all cooped up and it would be something exciting, so they said to share the excitement with everyone. So I am really excited to share this collection with you. This is called Dandy Garden Suite, and the stamp set is called Dragonfly Garden. Now I love dragonflies. I've loved them forever. And I'm super excited to have this. We had a dragonfly set a couple years ago, and it had dies, and this one has a punch, so that's super exciting. I love punches. I like using them for multiple things, and I like that they're so fast and easy, and it's great for when I do a stamp camp or a card buffet because it's just nobody has to stand in line waiting for the big shot. So it's really great to have a punch, and so I was really excited to finally have a dragonfly punch. And the stamp set itself is really pretty. It has two dragonflies as well as some other little insects, and then this nice little collection of wildflowers here, really nice, and then some good sentiments. So it's a really pretty stamp set. I was really excited about the punch, and there's a few other things that kind of go along with this collection. First, there is these itty bitty little ladybugs. Let's see if I can get it up closer for you. Super cute little ladybugs, little kind of like a brass, kind of like a little ladybug here. So those are going to be cute to add on to your projects. There's also a braided linen in Mossy Meadow, and that's kind of nice. We've had in the current big catalog, we have a braided linen in a natural linen, and then in the holiday catalog we had a red braided linen, and now I have Mossy Meadow braided linen. So I'm really excited about this. And then there's a paper collection that goes with this. And this is a 6x6 collection, and it's really a fun little paper collection. So I wanted to show it to you. It's got some, look at this, dandelions. Now normally you wouldn't think of dandelions as a pretty flower. It's a weed, right? But actually it's quite fun. Dandelions. There was a little girl who lived next to me who used to pick them and give me little dandelion bouquets, and it was just the sweetest little thing. And even my daughter would play with them, and she liked them when they were in the yard. So yes, it's a weed, but it's a pretty little weed anyway, right? So there's dandelion paper on the one side. You've got this other type of dandelion. And in the annual catalog right now, the current annual catalog, there's a really popular stamp set called Dandelion Wishes, and I love it. I use it all the time. So I'm going to think that this is a great paper to go along with that Dandelion Wishes stamp set as well. So hopefully that'll carry over in the spring. But even if it's not, I have it, so I'm happy. So then this one's just a nice group of patterns. You've got some Mossy Meadow with some leaves, and then you've got this really nice, I think it's bumblebee stripe. Here's some more dandelions. Now, aren't they interesting? It's like a sketch. On the back, some more dandelions, but the puffy ones, the seed. We've seen this one, yeah. Here's another one, dandelions. It's really fun. I think these are really kind of interesting. Look at this one. I like that one a lot with the little seeds. Really cool looking. All right, that's a repeat. Here's some. This one has those dragonflies in it. As you can see. You saw that one. Here's another pattern. And on the back, on the back of this pattern is some more dragonflies, bigger. So it's kind of like the same paper but zoomed in. Yeah, it's this one. Here's another one of those dragonflies. I like this one the best, actually, with the blue background. So I was thinking, even, let's say I ran out of this one, because I love this blue background, I can always color the background on this one blue with my Stampin' Blends, right? So, because I really like this one. And this is a nice pattern. And then here we got some bumblebees for your garden. Really cute. I have a niece who raises bees. And nice little pattern on the back. This is Misty Moonlight. Here is a nice little dandelion flower in a more straight, like kind of geometric pattern. This is Calypso Coral. And then a nice stripe. So you've got some, and here's that. I think I like this one the best, maybe. Well, I don't know, I keep saying that, but I like this pattern. It's kind of fun. And then on the back, some Calypso Coral patterns. And this is a very pretty leaf pattern, I have to say. And that is the Misty Moonlight. See the back of that. Oh, this was a really fun one. It's Calypso Coral in the background, and then these really pop off of that. And I actually saw a card made out of this. At first I thought it was kind of, I don't know, bright or something. But then I've seen some things made with it, and I thought it was actually, they're really interesting. So I think this is really pretty. And then this one, I've already used 2 sheets of this. So I only have 2 left. And anyway, hopefully, I don't know which ones of these patterns we're supposed to use for our event next week. So hopefully I haven't used up the papers that we're going to use at the event. So anyway, I wanted to show you this suite, and then I wanted to make a card with it with you. And I thought that I would make kind of a little fun fold with a belly band. So here is what I made. I wanted to use the paper as well as the punch and the stamp, so I can use all of it. The only thing I'm not using are the little ladybugs, because we're only allowed to order 1 of each thing just yet, because it's a new thing, new product line, and I didn't know if I had enough ladybugs to do all my swaps, and then I'd have none left for myself. So I'm being stingy with my ladybugs. And then as far as this goes, I can't decide if I want to add the bow or not. So give me your opinion on that. Bow, no bow? Okay, so I made my card with a belly band. I wanted to try to use as many different things on it as possible. So it opens like this, and then it opens like this. So that's my card. And then the belly band just slips right on. So I want to show you how to make this and give you some dimensions. Okay, and then these 2 dragonflies are actually punched right out of this paper. And I have some tips for that, and I do need some more, so I thought we'd punch one of these pages together. So these bottom 2 dragonflies can just punch right out, but the problem is, see how this punch has a big dragonfly on the bottom, but then it's got this little dragonfly on the top. And so if I were to just go right in and punch out this dragonfly, I'd actually be kind of damaging this one here, and I don't want to do that. So I had to come up with a way to get all these big dragonflies and these medium dragonflies punched out with minimal damage. So, and these little ones here, they actually are not hard to cut out. I'm going to show you this pile I've kind of got going on. Look. Look at all those cute little dragonflies. They're very simple to cut out. So if you went around them and cut them out yourself, you could do that. They're really cute and sweet, and I thought, you know, I'm going to cut them out. So I already cut out all these little dragonflies, and I will put them in a little baggie. So for minimal damage, I went and these ones on the end I'm not going to worry about. I kind of went around like so, and you can decide. Maybe even you don't worry about those little ones so much if you're not going to cut them out. I have a lot, so maybe I won't be super careful. Like, I'm going to go right through that blue one and this yellow one. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2 here, like so, and then I'm going to punch out this blue one and this big yellow one here. And then I want this one. So you can decide if it's how much you don't want to destroy this purple guy here. Now, like I showed you how many I have, I went ahead and I'm going to go ahead and not worry about him. But you can decide what you want to cut around. Now, these medium ones, there's a couple different sizes. So I got that one. These little tiny ones don't fit the punch, and then there are some like this yellow one that are a little bigger, and this Calypso Coral one. But even this little raspberry one, he's a little smaller, so there's going to be a little more white around him, but not a lot. So you'd go ahead and decide. So then, to cut out this row, I wanted to keep this yellow one and this Calypso one and this Mossy Meadow one intact, so I'm kind of going like so. And again, if you don't want to cut those out, just go right over them. And then you're going to cut out the big one first. This is to get minimal damage on your dragonflies. And then go over here and cut out this cute little yellow one. And this Mossy Meadow one. And then save these if you feel like cutting them out. You could kind of cut them out while you're watching your show or something. And then this last one's here. You're going to just do the same thing. You're going to so you're able to get 6 large dragonflies, and I think maybe 8 small dragonflies from each sheet. And then I didn't count the little baby ones that I had to cut out. So it's kind of simple. You just have to just cut around a little bit. And look at the last one. Okay, so now I have enough for a swap. A lot of us demonstrators, when there's a new product line, we swap. We all make cards, like I had to make 12, and then I'm going to mail them in, and then I will get 12 different ones back. And that's nice, because then I've got lots of ideas for card buffets and classes, and it's really fun to do swaps just to kind of, you know, stamp with people, even if virtually. Okay, so for the card, I've got all my dragonflies already ready for my card, and then we're just going to go ahead and use a piece of Mossy Meadow as our card base. And we need to do some scoring. So, to score this, you're going to go at 2, and we need an 1/8. So 2 and an 1/8. From this side, and then I need 4 1/4 because that's the center actually, and you could open your arm and figure out 4 1/4, but I'm gonna just turn it over and do 4 1/4. So basically I've got 1/2, and then I've put the other side in half, so 1 whole half, and then this is in half. So you've got this here as your card base. And then, for the inside, I need a piece of Whisper White cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and then 2 pieces of the Designer Series paper, each cut at 5 1/4, and then 1 and 7/8. And that's going to give you the same border as you have around here. And I wanted 2 different patterns, so I've got some of these that are this green, and I know I cut some that are a different pattern. But where did I put them? Here we go. I went with this one. Or you could even use this side too. Either side is pretty. Okay. So you've got this. And you're going to go ahead and stamp first on your Whisper White. I always like to stamp first because if you make a mistake, you could flip it over. Now I'm kind of a speedy stamper, and I don't always get out my Stamparatus, but for 2 reasons I'm going to use my Stamparatus on this card. One reason is that I'm doing a swap and I have to make 12 of them, so that's going to make making 12 of these so much easier. The other reason is that this long stamp here doesn't fit on one pass of an ink pad, or you have to kind of move it around. And what I mean by that is, to get it inked up, you know, you can't just push down, you have to kind of move the stamp pad around because it's so long. And because of that, sometimes you can miss an area. Maybe you don't quite get everywhere with that pad. And so, you know, it's so hard to line it back up to add more ink. So if you use the Stamparatus, if you miss an area, you can go ahead and stamp it again and know that it's lined up nicely. And again, the speed is really nice. I can do all 3 of those stamps in one pass. So what I like to do when I use a Stamparatus is you can purchase these little sheets, or you can use the scrap sheet of your own. I like that these have grid lines on them. And you can purchase these in a pad, and they fit inside your Stamparatus here, and you kind of mark out where your cardstock is going to be. I like to tuck it right tight in that corner, so then I know exactly where it's going to be. And then you stamp on the sheet first. You can also stamp on this. This is like a plastic, and you can wipe this clean, but I like the sheets just because I can move them around, and I don't know, it's just nice. So once I've got it where I want it and I put my stamp, I stamp on here, I can see things like how close is it to the edge, or, you know, these grid lines help you know if your words are crooked. You know, I needed to push mine up just a tiny little hair to make that straight, and I get it all worked out. And once I know where everything's going to be, I can go ahead and put my cardstock in there and put a magnet down where it's not going to interfere with the stamps. Okay, now you're just going to take your ink pad and ink it up. Now it's kind of bouncy because it's on an angle, and so one thing you can do if you want is take your stamp case. It's the perfect size to go underneath that, and it gives you a flatter surface. That's a little tip. Okay. Now let's see if I missed anywhere. Make sure I get it in screen here for you. So then you're going to press. Now, when the stamp is closer to the hinge, you have to press a little bit harder. Not on this side because I'm not using this hinge, but this hinge where the plate is actually in. You want to press a little harder just because, you know, it just doesn't lay as flat. Okay, so I actually didn't miss anywhere. So I can't show you how to line that up again. But what would happen is if you just ink it up again and then you close it and press again, your ink is going to go exactly in the same spot. You don't have to worry that it's slightly off, and that's awesome. So, you know, when you're doing a bunch of the same card, maybe at Christmas, you might want to grab this Stamparatus because you can mass produce your holiday cards, any holiday, in a quicker fashion. I kind of always like to do 2 of one card anyway, just because I send one and then I keep one for, you know, just inspiration in case I forget what I've done with it in the past. I just did another one because I don't know, I need so many of them, and I thought I would do another one and show you. And see, I did miss close to the hinge. Let's go ahead and ink that up. And press it down. And now it's fully inked. Very nice. And I didn't get any, you know, little shadow ink pieces because it lined up perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to do that 10 more times, but I won't make you watch me do that. Okay, so now for coloring this, you can use your pencils, your Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use my Stampin' Write markers, just the good old-fashioned Stampin' Write markers. The reason for that is it's such a small image. Even though I love my Stampin' Blends, these images are really small, so the idea of blending colors is not quite needed on such a small, skinny image. Stampin' Write markers are awesome because there's a brush tip and a little tiny tip, and you can use either one. And I chose my colors straight from what it says are in the color palette of this designer series paper. So when you get a designer series paper pack, sometimes and hopefully more often than not, it tells you exactly what colors are in this pack on the little sheet here. Now it also is always going to tell you what colors are inside your pack in the catalog, so you know, and on the website. But sometimes the smaller packs didn't always have this piece of cardboard in it that told you all the colors, but the last season or two they have, so I think that's kind of a new thing going forward. I think they'll probably always do that. But anyway, it tells you what colors are in here: Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow. So you're going to grab those colors. The only thing I added was cinnamon cider because I wanted it for the little seed pod area of the, I'm calling that a Black-Eyed Susan or Daisy. Anyway, so I wanted to add the brown. Otherwise, these colors are straight from this paper. Okay, so I'm going to color this. I'm going to use Mossy Meadow on all the stems. I'm going to use Bumblebee for the bigger flowers. Calypso Coral will go on some of the smaller ones. I don't think I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. I may or may not. Blackberry Bliss might go on some of the tiny ones. And I will do my coloring on a little bit fast. Maybe I'll speed up the timing on the video so you don't have to watch me coloring each individual little stem. And hopefully that's okay with you. Let me know if you'd rather. I just think sometimes videos can get kind of long. So I thought, you know, if I do a fast forward, that might be okay. But if you'd rather see slow coloring, I do other videos on coloring where the coloring is the technique of the video. And so I take it slow. But for this one, I wanted to show you the fun fold and the belly band, and I really wanted to show you the suite of products. So I'm hoping that the fast forwarding on the coloring is okay. Okay, now let's make our belly band. Now the belly band needs to go around this card base, which the wide width here is 4 1/4, but you need your belly band to be a little bit bigger just so that it's not too tight. So I need the arm side here. So I'm going to flip this around. It's hard to figure out how to do this for the camera. Okay, so on one side, I'm going to go to 3 inches and score it, and then I need to add that 4 1/4 space plus 1/8, so I need to add to that 4, so I go to 7, wait, that was 3, I need to go to 4 1/4 and 1/8, which brings me to 7 3/8. So just under 7 1/2. Okay, 7 3/8. And that's going to give me a little bit bigger than 4 1/4 there. And then I wanted to use embossing powder and emboss this for a true friend in some Whisper White, or some, that's not Whisper White, it's just called white stamping emboss powder. So in order to emboss, I need my Versamark. And we're going to stamp it to the right of this score line. And it doesn't really matter which side has the longer piece. One side is going to be a little longer than the other. Okay, so I just have my For a True Friend on there. Normally I use a scratch paper, but this card was just sitting there, so I grabbed it. And I'll heat this up. All right, now we're going to put some things together. You can decide, do you want the yellow or the blackberry? I think I want the blackberry showing. Bring that belly band in a little bit more. And I like the mossy meadow on the outside. Okay, so you've got your base here. This is going to wrap it around. Now I like to wrap it around with the card underneath it rather than just fold it and put the adhesive on and then slide it on, just so that I know that it fits properly. So go ahead and put it on and then add your adhesive. Did I run out? Oops. Of course I run out when I'm doing video, right? Okay. Go ahead and place that down. There we go. All right, and then I just added some dragonflies. So I wanted to add a little sparkle to my dragonfly, so I grabbed some Wink Stella, and I like to work off a block just because I'm always afraid if I squeeze the Wink Stella over my project that I'll accidentally get a glob. So I usually put it on a block first and then paint from there. So I'm just adding a little shimmer to the dragonfly, and I just did it lightly. I just wanted the dragonfly to shimmer just a little bit, and then I want to add one of these smaller ones as well. Now it's actually easier to color these smaller ones when they're on the big sheet of paper. And so that's my tip. Do what I say and not as I do, I guess. That's what I did when I did the first sheet. I colored all the dragonflies while they were still on the paper. It's so much easier, especially that little baby dragonfly, the itty bitties. Those are tons easier. Like this little itty bitty guy, he's already got some shimmer on him. So much easier on the paper. So that's my tip for you there. And now he's just going to get glued down, maybe slightly tilted, like so. And then add a little blue one over here, the Misty Moonlight. Actually, let me tip him a little more so he's not covering the flower. And then if you want to add a little baby one, you could. Super cute little baby guy down there. And there it is. Now you tell me if it needs the bow. And let me know what your thoughts are there. And then because you're using colors straight out of the paper that it tells you all these, but all of the different dragonflies would all match perfectly, so you don't have to worry about just picking one up and putting it down on your project. So I hope you liked my sneak peek. I'm looking so forward to my online, it's called On Stage at Home, coming up in next week and a week and a half. And I'll be sharing some things from there if I can. So check back and think about becoming a demonstrator. It's really fun, and even though we're in this kind of crazy time, it's actually been nice and therapeutic for me while we're all separating. I've been sending out so many cards to friends and family and just everybody. It's a nice little thing to do, and being a demonstrator is great and fun, and if you have any questions about it, I would be happy to answer them. And if you want to sign up for my newsletter, please do so. When you go to my Facebook page or my blog, a pop-up should appear, and it should give you a link to sign up for my newsletter. If it doesn't, let me know, because it should, and then that means that I've done something wrong in my coding, which is not too surprising. All right, thank you so much for watching. Bye!